Welcome to this program. We're off to the Kingdom of Nepal. Join us in this 20,000-mile round-trip journey from Boise, Idaho, USA, to the Himalaya Mountains. After traveling across the Pacific for about 24 hours, with connections in San Francisco and Tokyo Narita Airport, we arrive in Bangkok, Thailand for a one-day rest stop. We then continue on to Kathmandu. Nepal is a relatively small country with a geographic size of about 54,000 square miles. That's similar in size to the state of Wisconsin. Nepal contains 8 of the 10 highest mountain peaks on Earth, which includes the highest, Mount Everest. Nepal is located between China to the north and India to the south. Kathmandu, the capital, is in the eastern third of the country. Mount Everest is further east in Nepal, adjacent to Tibet, which is now part of China, of course. We'll also be flying to and from Lukla at the edge of the Khumbu region near Mount Everest. Elevations in Nepal go from about sea level near the border with India to over 29,000 feet in only about 150 miles. After crossing the border of India and Nepal, we turn over the Romeo VOR to join the Sierra approach to Kathmandu. The Sierra approach is the only instrument approach at Kathmandu. It is a non-precision VOR DME approach. This is considered a difficult approach by airline pilots, as the descent angle on the approach goes as high as 6.6 degrees. The 6.6 degree approach angle occurs soon after passing this terrain, which is right under the Sierra approach. First, we're going to make a flying visit to Mount Everest, the highest point in the world. Buddha Air uses the term Everest Experience Flights, or simply mountain flights. Our flight from Kathmandu to near Mount Everest and return takes about 60 minutes total flying time in our turboprop aircraft. While waiting to depart for our mountain flight, let's review climbing information concerning Mount Everest. On May 29, 1953, the first documented climbers reached the 29,034-foot peak of Mount Everest. Edmund Hillary of New Zealand and Sherpa Tenzing Norgay of Nepal were the first to do so. Sherpas represent the group of climbers with the greatest number of successful ascents of Mount Everest, and also the group with the most Everest climbing deaths. Before flying to Everest, let's quickly review the route of most Everest climbers. From base camp at 5,384 meters, climbers first go up the dangerous icefall area to Camp 1, then up the western Qim to Camp 2, up the Lhotse face to Camp 3, and then to Camp 4 on the South Col. Then they climb up the balcony to the south summit, up the Hillary Step, and up to the summit if they are successful. Let's board the mountain flight and fly up near Mount Everest.
Located under the Finest Sea, and the other is located on the coast northern wall. This aircraft is pressurized for...
We take off and start our climb to altitude over Kathmandu, which has a population of several million. first go over the foothills before we see the high Himalaya.
Lotse on the right, Everest is the thing.
To your right is coming Everest Lotse, we are very close to it. It's the closest view you can get. Right now to your right is Mount Makala, that's the southwest. And to your left below you can see Mount Ahmedabad. To your right you can see Everest and Lotse. In between Everest and Lotse, you can see South Col. South Col is the last summit for the climbers. And the mountain in front of Everest, that peak is called Lotse. South
We're now back on the ground at the Kathmandu airport. We start trekking in Lukla, where it's market day. Everything beyond Lukla is foot-powered. There are no cars, trucks, motorcycles, or bicycles here. These porters are carrying baskets that hold loads of up to about 70 pounds. The baskets are called dokos.
Oh, good.
Salam.
Namaste. Namaste.
Namaste gare.
Very good. You're a cute 2-year-old.
These porters carrying heavy loads are called truckers. Trucker porters sometimes carry up to 200-pound loads, such as kerosene or beer. Construction here uses hand tools to shape rocks almost ancient. Going from ancient to the latest technology, we see satellite dishes. These are Buddhist prayer flags waving in the wind. At this Buddhist site, these are prayer wheels.
Yeah, I'm a papa. Hi. Hi. Pop over here. Hi. Are you gonna come over here? Hi. Will you do it for the camera? How about if I do peekaboo? Will you do peekaboo? Peekaboo? Huh? You're a good little 9-month-old, aren't you? Huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
This is some of the evidence that the greatest mountain climbers in the world have been at these lodges en route to climb Mount Everest. There are also many pictures of the Dalai Lama in the lodges along this trekking route.
Decima. चारवटा जोक बेच 5,000 भन्दा बढी होला 5वटा जोक बेच 6,000 जति होला है
This is the main entrance to Sagarmatha National Park. These pack animals that are used at lower elevations, that is less than 10 to 11,000 feet, are hybrid yak-cow combinations. They are called zbikos. We are lucky to get this view of Mount Everest from the trekking trail, as clouds often obscure it here.
जिरीबाट आउनुभएको होइन आज कहाँबाट आउनु हो कालिम्पोङतिरबाट होला है तपाईँहरू हामी मन्जुर भयो त्यहाँ आउँदैछौँ दसैँमा घर जानुहुन्छ होला होइन त
अब जानुपर्ने हामी त
म त टिका पनि लुक लगाइपुग्छु
हजुर
कहिले जाने
कैसे ल्याएको अब भाइको नाच्नु भनेको
This helicopter from Kathmandu is going to rescue a woman trekker who fell above Namche. She had to be carried 8 miles on a litter to where a helicopter could land. After a steep climb up the trail, we reach Namche Bazaar, which is at about 11,200 foot elevation. Namche is the trading hub for the Sherpa people of the Khumbu. These animals with their long hair are yaks and are used only at elevations above Namche Bazaar. They do not function well below 10,000 foot elevation.
साँच्चै हिजो म होइन त्यो कबिर आएछ कि नि म हाँस्छु कि बाहिर गएर म त होइन
अब सिजन अफ सिजन पैसा देख्छ केटा हो घर भन्छ
गर्ने भएर होइन मान्छेलाई सिधाउनु एउटा के गर्नु सिसा हो साथी सिसा
Barely make it through there with that.
Mountain bee.
Mountain bee, yeah?
Mountain bee. Yeah.
This Sherpa gentleman is about 70 years old and was just released from the hospital in Kundi, which is above us at about 12,500 foot elevation. He still has a very long walk ahead of him to get home.
You say he did go to the hospital in Kundi?
Yeah, they did go to the hospital, sickness problem, then he's come back. You see? Not I.
Yaks have 3 times the number of red blood cells as lowland cows, and they have higher hemoglobin concentrations to carry oxygen to sustain vital bodily functions at high altitude. Hand tools are also used here digging up potatoes.
And what kind of birds are those?
Yeah,
What are they?
pigeon.
Mountain pigeons?
ओ दाजु एक लुङ्गी तोर्लाम पिसी चिया गर भने के भनेको एक लुङ्गी तोर्लाम पिसी चिया गर भने के भनेको त्यस्तो सिकाउँछ मान्छेले त मलाई हो हो
ट्रेनमा 3-4 ग्रुप गइरहेको छ
बाबा काजी भोटे नै आउनुभएको छ के छ भाइ भोटे छ पछि हाम्रो बुढो घर गएको पछि निकै लगाएको छ भनेपछि त्यो बक्सिसबाट छाड्यो भनेपछि 10,000 चाहिँ बुढो
अब पठाउनु थियो र नि
10,000 चाहिँ बुढो थिएन होला
कति पठाइयो आफूले
अलिकति
राजमाको पठाउने हो ए कति दिन भयो
4 दिन
ल भयो
ल राम्रो हुन्छ बिजनेस ठिकै छ कता आउँछ त दाजु
हजुर
कता नि दाजु अनि यसो हामी ससुराली बनाउन पाइन्न कहाँभित्र Nepali bridge.
Nepali bridge?
Yeah. Nepali big bridge, this one.
The majority of the trekkers and climbers going to the Khumbu region do so by flying from Kathmandu to the very challenging high-altitude airport at Lukla. The Lukla airport was built by a team led by Edmund Hillary. It was initially constructed primarily to get construction materials needed to build schools, a hospital, water treatment, and other facilities to help the Sherpa people in the Khumbu. Lukla's elevation of over 9,000 feet above sea level results in significant degradation of aircraft performance due to density altitude. The Lukla airport has rugged terrain in all quadrants. As we descend on the approach to Lukla, the aircraft gets closer and closer to the terrain. Winds, clouds, rain, and snow affect the operations at this airport. The visibility can change quite quickly in this mountainous environment. This airliner did not make it in when the visibility suddenly changed. The relatively short runway at Lukla means only STOL, or short takeoff and landing aircraft, can use this airport. Evaluating the tire marks on the Lukla runway show that many pilots attempt to get the wheels in the pavement almost immediately after crossing the threshold. The sloping runway has both positive and negative influences on operations here. For example, landing uphill assists braking and taking off downhill improves performance. But in a rejected takeoff situation, the downslope could make it more difficult to stop. A pilot essentially reaches V1 as soon as his brakes are released. Tire marks from heavy braking show that some aircraft have had difficulty stopping before the end of the short Lukla runway. Lukla is a one-way in, one-way out airport. When landing at Lukla, there is no go-around possibility once committed to land. There is high terrain at the end of the runway and in the airport vicinity in all directions. Very few airports in the world have a runway ending like this. Each aircraft must stop or else before reaching the end of the pavement. When taking off at Lukla, there is little margin in an aborted takeoff situation as the runway has no overrun. The Lukla airport does not have any electronic navigational or landing aids to assist pilots operating here. However, it does have an air traffic control tower, which is very important as this is a very busy airfield. The runway at this busy airport is frequently used by people to walk on it. Walking on airport runways also occurs in some parts of Africa and the Caribbean.
Maybe there are some more challenges.
There are? With the Twin Otter? It's quite an aircraft. It's a very good aircraft for this kind of airstrip.
Yeah, this is the working horse in Nepal.
I'm confused. That is Royal Nepal Airlines.
The Nepalese army has a strong presence in Lukla and also in Namche Bazaar due to the Maoist rebel threat. In the past several years, the Maoist rebels have killed over 12,000 people in Nepal. The ramp personnel at Lukla, particularly at the busiest times of day, do the fastest turnarounds we've ever seen. They have to do this at peak hours due to the fact that there's limited ramp space for aircraft parking.
you ever need anything, just give me a shout. यहाँनिर कता खतर छ